Okay, I've got the Arturia KeyStep. Picked it up a couple of days ago from Full Compass and got it specifically for my boutiques here, the JX03 and the JU06, because this little bugger has a sweet polyphonic sequencer built into it, amongst other things. It does have a arpeggiator, first and foremost, with 8 different arpeggiation modes. Just do a quick little example of that. Got it switched to arpeggiator and to number 1, which is just the up mode. It has to be running to arpeggiate. It does not have a latch function, but it has a hold function, which is this button right here. Same exact thing. So get your arpeggiator going, hit hold, and away you go. So there's 8 different arpeggiator modes that go all over the place. You have time divisions that are quarter note, eighth note, 16th, 32nd, and then you have your triplets in quarter, eighth, 16th, and 32nd. Rate knob for tempo, tap tempo button, which also doubles as the rest and tie button for putting in sequences via the shift button. Record, stop, pause, play, and the secondary functions are append, which you can add additional steps to a sequence. Clear last, which is really one of the only ways to clear out an entire sequence. You have to just hit shift and repeatedly clear it out. There's no single button to clear a sequence, which I wish there was a function to do that, but there's not a deal breaker. And then pause play also doubles as a restart button, which will restart an arpeggiation from the beginning or a sequence. So playing live, that could be pretty cool to do sort of stutter effects or whatever. Beyond that, you've got octave up and down, you've got pitch and mod, and you have chord mode, which is the secondary function of the hold button. So what you do is you hit shift and the hold chord and put in a chord, and now a single note will play that chord. You can then sequence that way, sequencing individual notes, playing chords, or you can also use them in the arpeggiation mode. To shut it off, just shift and hold, good to go. So I'm just going to do a real quick demo, just getting everything kind of in the mix. I've got the JX, the JU, and I got a Volca Beats over here just for some drums. The other cool thing that I didn't know when I first got this and saw on a video on YouTube is while this can send a sequence to a synth, secondarily you can switch to a different MIDI channel while it's still sending a sequence to one synth and play another synth by way of the keys. And the way I've got this set up is I've got MIDI out going to a Quadra through box by MIDI Solutions, which is then splitting to each of the synths and also sending MIDI to the Volca Beats, which is just getting clock essentially. But that way I can show you how to send a sequence to one synth from the KeyStep and play the other synth by the keys. So simply put, this thing is pretty cool. There's a load of functions that come with the software to adjust all manner of things. It syncs up with Volca's perfectly through the sync in and out. You just have to select the proper sync type within the software. It's got MIDI in and out. The out can also be switched to act as a through. And then for analog connections, you've got CV gate and mod, which those also have various different modes within the software that you can set. Software also includes a sequence writing tool, I guess, which is essentially just a piano roll, and then you can import those into the KeyStep. But I'm just going to do a very simple sequence, nothing too fancy on the patches on the synths, just to kind of show you how I can do the sequence on one and still control the other one. When you are splitting it like that, the synth that's playing the sequence will be affected by the pitch and mod. The synth that you're playing with the keys, the pitch and mod will not affect that. It's only going to affect the synth getting the sequence. Otherwise, to get a sequence going, I've got it all cleared out. It's stopped. I'm just going to hit the record button, and as you input the notes, it's going to advance the steps. This again is the rest and tie button. So again, just some simple stuff. And what you can do while it's playing is when you hold the shift key and hit the octave up button, it'll allow you to play the keys over the sequence. And there you can see I've left the record on, so it's added those notes in. One thing with that is when you record over or with a sequence that's already playing, the notes you're playing are going to overwrite what's there. There's no function to like overdub or stack the notes per step. Even though this is a polyphonic step sequencer, it just simply overwrites the notes. It'd be something nice if Arturia could put some kind of an update into this where you would have that option of just either overwriting or overdubbing. So with polyphonic synth, you could stack the notes, but as it is right now, it will just simply overwrite. So, just get this going again. But as I said before, you hit the shift button and the octave up, and you can play notes from it while it's playing the sequence. If you hit the shift octave down, that's going to be your transpose. With the transpose within the software, you have to select a specific note that you will start from when transposing. I have a couple of micro brutes, and when I'm running a sequence in those and transposing as I'm jamming live, it transposes from the first note of the sequence, or the root note. With this, it doesn't do that. I wish there was a way that you could tell it to transpose from the first note of a sequence, or like a low note priority if you're starting with a chord, something like that. Because what I do is I'm transposing on two different synths at the same time. It's a lot easier to go off the same keys. But with this, unless you are writing a sequence in that key, you might be having to transpose on different keys. And since I'm not a keyboard player, that totally throws me off. But not a deal breaker. If you're writing in the same key that the transpose center point is started at, not a big deal. So what I'll do here is show you how to play this with the keys while this is playing the sequence. So what you're going to do is just get it started, and by holding the shift and octave key, select the MIDI channel, the secondary synth. And there you go. Again, the pitch and mod will affect the synth that's getting the sequence, and the keys will play the secondary synth. On the keyboard, as far as secondary controls, again, right here, you've got MIDI channels 1 through 16. Super easy to change. You just hit shift, hit it, and it will change it. So the JX03 is channel 1, JU06, channel 2, just like that. Right here, you've got gate length settings of 10% through 90%, and then down here is swing or shuffle. But otherwise, for the money, this thing is excellent. It's very easy to use. Getting to figure out the sequencer, if you don't quite understand the nature of it can be a little difficult at first. Again, recommend check this out on the Arturia website. Check out the manual. It's there. It's not too long, but it's very explanatory and it goes way deeper than I'm going to go here. $120. This thing is going to be really good for jamming, which is pretty much what I do. And I couldn't recommend it higher, especially with, I got it specifically for these, just so I could get some sequences of chords going. If you have questions or anything, let me know below. I'll see if I can try and answer them. Just kind of, again, a basic overview, but definitely a great addition if you're a synthesizer enthusiast, music producer, whatever you're doing, amateur bedroom jamming, whatever the case may be. Check it out. Thanks.